Welcome to the MemberSuite video series. MemberSuite is the just right answer to the needs of member-based organizations looking for a balance of cost and functionality. In this tutorial, we'll introduce you to the basic financial concepts in MemberSuite and how you'll use them to keep track of your organization's finances. Before we get started, we need to review a few critical concepts in MemberSuite. In MemberSuite, finances are tracked in business units. Think of a business unit as a set of books. Most of associations have one set of books, and thus one business unit. But if you have more than one set of books, for instance, if you're an association that has a foundation arm or manages other associations, then you would have more than one business unit in MemberSuite. Each business unit needs to have an active fiscal year set up. Each fiscal year will probably have 12 fiscal periods and match up with your association's fiscal periods. MemberSuite is set up to act as an accounts receivable system. That is, a system that is the database of record for all incoming revenue. It doesn't replace your accounting system, rather, it integrates with it. You can export batch information from MemberSuite into your accounting system to make sure that your general ledger is up to date with the subledger in MemberSuite. In order to make sure your financial transactions are organized and traceable, MemberSuite keeps them all in groups called batches. A batch is a single grouping of financial transactions. When you post a batch, you effectively transfer the transactions into your accounting software. Because each batch has a unique number, you can trace all transactions in your accounting system back to MemberSuite and vice versa. This is a very important point, as auditors will want to know that everything in your financial system can be traced back into your system of record. You can create as many batches as you like. It's dictated by your business. You might have one batch a week for incoming checks or one a month. It's completely up to you. MemberSuite will automatically create daily batches for credit card transactions, helping you reconcile and match them up to your bank deposits. At the end of every month, your controller or CFO will need to close all batches, recognize any deferred revenue, and then transmit the data to your accounting software. This is known as closing the fiscal period, or put simply, closing out the month. The most fundamental financial concept in MemberSuite is a product. A product represents something that can be purchased. Products have GL accounts that allow them to be posted back to your general ledger once purchased. Both invoices and orders contain products. In MemberSuite, an invoice represents the notion that someone owes you money. An invoice has one or more line items, and once it's created, it represents an account receivable debit in your books. The exception to this rule is a pro forma invoice, which does not hit your books in any way. Pro forma invoices are useful for times when you want to issue an invoice, but you don't want to have the revenue hit your books until it's paid. For instance, a membership renewal invoice. Pro forma invoices automatically become regular invoices when a payment is applied to them. It's really important to mention the difference between invoices and orders. An order represents the notion that a customer wants something, and invoices represent the notion that money is owed. Orders are the way that a customer gets something, a membership, an event registration, a subscription. Invoices are the way that a customer pays for that something. For that reason, you will usually create orders, not invoices. Usually, one order generates one invoice, but there are times where that isn't true, such as when the order has a zero balance, or when the order is for a product that is billed in installments, in which case, multiple invoices are created in the future and are tied back to the order. A payment is just that, a payment. A payment must be applied to an invoice, and if a payment is made for more than the balance of an invoice, a credit is created. A customer credit is a liability to the association. It represents the fact that a customer is owed money that you're keeping. You can refund a credit to a customer by issuing, well, a refund. Okay, now that we've covered the theoretical stuff, let's see how it all works. You can create an invoice in MemberSuite from the Financial module by clicking Create an Invoice. Before you begin, you must specify a bill to customer, which we'll do here. Select the batch that the invoice should belong to, as well as the invoice date. If you'd like to record a source and media code from the invoice, indicating where it came from, you can, but this is optional. Under Terms, you can set the terms of the invoice. Note that you can add custom terms in the Setup tab of MemberSuite. Once you've done that, you'll need to add products to the invoice. We'll add a couple of products here. The price of the product will automatically populate, and you'll be able to change it as well if you need to. When you're done, we're going to click Save to save the invoice. Now that we've processed an invoice, let's apply a payment to that same invoice. You can actually do that right from the invoice screen, or you can do it from the main screen. Let's see that. Let's go to the main screen and select Receive Payment. And you'll see that the system takes us to the payment screen. Now let's enter in that same customer's name. And you'll see all of the open invoices for the customer. Note that you can select the payment method. If you're taking a credit card, you'll need to have at least one merchant account set up in the system. We're going to pay half the invoice. One more thing before we go. We can pay off invoices for other customers by using the Add Invoices from Another Customer box. Simply type in the customer name, and that customer's open invoices will become available for payment. But we'll click Process Payment to process the payment as is. Now customers can receive credits as a result of overpayment, or we can issue credits directly. Let's issue a credit to this customer. From the financial homepage, we'll select Issue Credits. We'll enter in the credit information, including the customer, a brief memo, and the amount of the credit. Because this is a financial transaction, a batch is needed, and an expense and liability account need to be specified. Remember that a credit is a liability to your organization, and you acquire this liability through some expense. We need to know what they are so we can update your books when the period closes. Click Save to issue the credit. Now, let's apply the credit we just issued to the customer's invoice. Click Apply Credits, and we'll enter in that same customer's name. Now you'll see the credits appear along with the open invoices. You'll see we just paid half of the invoice, so there's a balance of half remaining. We'll use the credit we just issued to pay off the remaining balance of the invoice, and click Process Payment to continue. Now, we can void or refund any payment in the system. Voiding a payment erases it as if it never happened. You can only void payments that are in batches that have not been posted. Once a batch has been posted, you need to refund the payment, which actually creates a negative payment to offset the original. Let's see how this works. Click Refund this payment to refund the payment. As this will create another payment record, you need to specify a batch that they should belong to. You can also specify which payment items you want to refund. You can refund part of the payment or the entire payment. Lastly, indicate how you want the refund to be processed, either as a customer credit or a check back to the customer. Click Process Refund to process the refund. This concludes the tutorial. In this training video, we actually learned a lot. We talked about the basics of business units, fiscal years, and batches. We learned how to create invoices, record, refund, and void payments, and issue credits. For more information, see the MemberSuite online help, or visit our online community at community.membersuite.com. Welcome to the MemberSuite video series. MemberSuite is the just right answer to the needs of member-based organizations looking for a balance of cost and functionality.